Hi people. So I was watching Crater from Disney 2023. It's that bad. My bet goes, this is why the script where the actor youths are striking. The script is either AI generated or just I don't know what happened. This is just so uncanny valley. And it's not the visuals, it's Disney, so it's not the 10th grade studio who makes some ripoff of Ratatouille or something and it looks terrible and it's just absolutely low effort. No, this is Disney. I would categorize this between the Disney Channel movies and some TV movie. For some reason, I rank the TV movies higher on quality or something, but I, despite I liking the Disney Channel stuff more, but that's just how things goes. Point is, the basic premise of this movie is some kid want to go to a crater on the moon because people are living on the moon in dome cities, and he has some friend who will go with him, and some chick is joining in. Point is, they go to the crater, they look at it, then they go home. Nothing spectacular, and actually nothing complicated happens during this trip. And despite having everything on the idea level, that this film be a young adventure movie, you know, something harmless and fun, and something that Jules Verne would wrote, the 12-year captain or something like that. It's disastrous. When you start watching, I won't bother criticizing the child actors. They are fine, and it's I don't know the original language. I saw this dubbed, but even at least partially in the original, even then you can't deny there is something wrong with the colored people. Well, in the dub, as I did not know the original language, all three colored kid has impediment. They are freaks of nature. They are just the lower race, if you want. The black guy who is a side character, has an enlarged heart syndrome, so that's obviously detrimental. Then there is the Asian kid who, what a twist, because he's straight out from Goonies, but the twist to that is the Asian kid is bad with gadgets. Will it come to any part of the movie? No, it will not. Moving on. But he is even have a speech impediment. I don't know if it's the accent issue or on the dub. It's a speech impediment. It's not an accent issue. And the main character, who is also black, also has a speech impediment. Why? And even if it is a dub issue, Disney had to approve it. Why? This is racist. And I don't care about such minor details, but this is racist. And the worst thing is, none of them, none of the group have character. Zero. They don't contribute to the story. They just are. The group could be the main character, but then the girl joins in and gets an entire chapter. If this would be not a movie but a book, it would be her chapter, a POV chapter. And why? But now it comes back. It's not built upon it, and it gets worse. The girl obviously gets together with the main character who has to move on from the moon because his father died because of a mining accident. These will be important details, by the way. And at the end of the movie, the protagonist child is passing this girl to one of his friends, like a literal object. Just, you are inherited by him. Okay. And they have a child together and everything. And what happened? We went back to biblical times? What is this? This is horrendous. So there was not a single shred of implicating those were getting fine. No, they were absolutely indifferent. They never interacted. They just came out of nothing. I don't know. And so they are on the moon. And they are stealing this moonwalker vehicle. And this is a giant inner space. It has giant inner space. That was suspicious. Why it has? And we are very soon, at a very early stage, we declared there is a resource stage on the moon or something. Why is this vehicle so big? There is no reason. And the worst thing, I didn't think much because this is a teenage or even under that movie from 8 to 12 years old going on adventure thing. They leave the dome. Okay. I didn't think about zoning and quarantining and all that shuttling things to preserve oxygen and things. But when later they leave the vehicle during trip, of course there is no silo to preserve oxygen. But preserving oxygen is a thing in the movie. And what is happening? There is no putting up the suit and siphoning out the oxygen inside. No, they just let all that oxygen go into the moon. Yeah. And there is this thing that oxygen sink. So oxygen is precious and it was hard to get enough supply to get to the crater and get back after that and all that kind of jizz, and they are wasting some bottle of oxygen because they are kids. That's fine. But then they go to a abandoned bunker and you know what? It's full of oxygen. How? And it's not just full of oxygen. They don't even have to hack their life support system to get oxygen from that full installation. No. They just find a couple of dozen bottles in a storage room and they use that. And I was, what? And they get into this character at the end. I won't spoil anything because it's not spoiler. There is nothing in the crater. There is another installation in the crater. It could have been an alien thing, or that inside the moon is a biodome and you don't have to move to that other planet called Omega. Because I don't know why it is called Omega. It's not the final solution to any kind of problem, but okay, you bear with me. And there is, when they get there, the moonwalker vehicle is just shut down. Is it the cause for this? Is this building in the crater? No, absolutely not. But there is this installation in the crater. No one knows about it, despite clearly built by the company which owns everything on the fucking moon and owns the whole space travel agency and everything. And it's full of oxygen. Again. Why? And you know what? There is this big fucking megapolis, half built, and this is just one on the moon. I bet that fucking thing, which there are hundreds, even thousands on the moon, half built, half finished, I bet that fucking thing is full of oxygen too. There is no oxygen shortage. You don't have to steal it. The entire moon could have its own atmosphere because there are so much oxygen transported to it. Just fuck you. And you know what's in the crater, in the building of the crater? A photo of the protagonist's mother. That's why his father, who committed suicide to make his kid travel to this Omega planet, this father did not give his child a photo of his mother. No. He encouraged him to steal a vehicle, risk his whole trip to this fucking Omega planet, what he worked for his whole life, no, he hid this sole existing photo of the mother in this fucking building. And we have no idea why. Let me tell you how this whole living in the moon thing works. So, you are either fucking rich and move to this Omega planet. What is just Earth 2? So you are either fucking rich and go straight to Omega, or you are stuck on Earth. Or you get into the depth spiral. Initially, you have to work 20 years on the moon, mining fucking whatever, helium, so it's some kind of fusion reactor that spaceships work, doesn't matter. It could have been unobtainium, I don't fucking care, you don't fucking care, the movie doesn't care. So, but it's always, oh, you messed up this, you got ill, I don't know, we don't like your face, so your child inherits 25 years work by contract. So the people are rushing from Earth so fucking fast, they don't even read the stupid contract. So it's entirely their fault, so I can't entirely blame the company. So, the question comes, what's wrong with Earth? Why are people rushing so fast to this Omega that they are signing contracts that entombs the entire family, they get enslaved, literally enslaved, for generations indefinitely. They don't even read the contract. And the answer is the girl character who don't born on the moon, because you would think these families bring their child to the moon with them. No, they were born on the moon, the entire group except the girl. She is a fresh comer, and she very soon realizes she will be stuck there for forever. She tells the audience, through telling the protagonist, that Earth is just better than the moon. There is nothing wrong with it. It's a blue sky, there is gravity so you can play baseball, you can do whatever you want, There is no pollution, there is no economic catastrophe, there is no natural catastrophe, there is no world war. They even mention World War One and Two as something belonging into the past. That's no longer the case. Then what's the problem? And you know, you can maybe you figure that the corporation is, it's a greedy corporation too, so they want to enslave people, enslave the poor, and just the usual stuff. But here comes the twist. And yet another, because everything is a twist. The twist is every time that there is no problem, nothing has a meaning. Going to the crater means nothing. Abandoning the Earth is no reason. Everything, the twist is just that nothing is. So the protagonist kid expresses his will to just stay on the moon. And the corporation says it's impossible. Despite that working on the moon is fucking lethal. Working on the moon is high risk, absolutely life risking, and it's just the worst. Those who freshly came from the Earth tell the moon is absolutely horrible. And they don't let this kid stay on the moon. So they might need the workforce because the workforce is dying like flies. But they don't let the protagonist, the kid who wants to stay on the moon, stay on the moon, despite the workforce is dying. It turns out the moon is full. There is no more living space. But the corporation does not let the people move to Omega. So, but then why do you encourage people to leave the perfectly habitable Earth to go to the moon, to be enslaved for indefinite generations, prevent them from going to Omega, but when they voluntarily want to stay on Omega, you just don't let them stay? Where is the logic? What's the situation? And just this contract. This contract on the moon is supposed to work that you work 20 years on the moon and you move to Omega. And it's not just expanding with your lifetime, so you are sick for a couple of years or weeks or whatever, just expanding with that. No, it's somehow it gets to indefinite period. Okay, but let's suppose it would work. This Omega is a second Earth, so it's Earth-sized planetary object. After 20 years on the moon, in 1/6 gravity of Earth, so you are practically living on a space station with almost no gravity. After 20 years, you won't have the muscle to live on Omega. You go there and die. You won't have the muscle to breathe air. So, what? And don't even start with the minute details of education. You would want high quality engineers and scientists on this station, and there is no education. They are just making workers uh, for the conveyor belt. What is happening? And they showed that megapolis, uh, and the characters tell it's uh, bigger than it's the size of New York or Earth, so it's just entirely enormous. And the main threat during this trip to the crater is an asteroid storm. And for this New York-sized megapolis, this metropolis from Superman comics, has absolutely no protection against that. And you know what? That stupid Moonwalker is absolutely asteroid proof. It's more asteroid proof because they are running from the crater building to this Moonwalker vehicle, so it must be more asteroid proof than that fucking bunker. And one of them is hit by one of the asteroids. Of course, it's so obvious plot point on the helmet, and it's not pass through that. No, it just bumps down like hitting a bulletproof window with a 9mm pistol gun, pistol ammo, bullet. You know, that's, that's not how physics works. That's not how anything works. This must be AI generated script, and it's horrendous. It looks like someone wrote it, but without understanding how anything works in the world. It's that incomprehensible. This is what Howard Philip Lovecraft's protagonists saw, and they go mad. You just can't understand how this thing can exist. This is why you call for your shutter to destroy the world. This, I don't know.